Yep, sand. Oh, there we go. So diesel 1, diesel 2. Okay, so there's 2 diesel engines. It's in neutral. Let's just flip that switch to start. Here we go. She's going to start up. Starting this massive diesel engine. Oh, she's roaring into life. Wow. Looks like these bogies are kind of shaking. They've got the shakes. Oh, motor malfunction. That's not good. I think this might be the end of the journey, folks. I've done something. I think I've ruined the motors. Oops. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to those of you who have recently subscribed, and also to those of you who are watching for the first time. Always great to have you aboard. This is Train Planet. Now this is a demo version of the game. It's yet to be released. It's currently, well, the demo is currently available on Steam if you want to go check it out. This is basically the demo right here that we'll be looking at today, and it's been dubbed the ultimate train sim by its developers. Bit of a big call, that one, I would have thought, but yeah, anyway, we'll give it a bit of a go today. I did see this one just pop up in Steam, and I thought I'd give it a bit of a go and just see what it's all about. Now, it looks like it's based very heavily on the German kind of region, I guess, of train simulation, locomotive works and all that kind of stuff. There's only 2 locomotives within this demo here. We're looking at the BR218. There's also the BR186. This is the diesel version of the locomotive, so there's no pantograph or anything. Here's the BR186 as it's called. This is obviously the version that's got the pantograph. This is a pure electric locomotive here. And yes, so there's just the 2 locomotives within the demo at the moment. But yes, within the description of the game on Steam, it does talk about the ability to drive electric and diesel trains, locomotives, but there's no mention of steam that I saw. There's it says here, from diesel engines to high-speed electric trains, the choice is yours. That's on the Steam description. Now you can see here, this is just a beta page here that's talking about you know, the fact that it's not quite optimized and there's possible bugs and glitches in this demo and all that kind of stuff. So that's to be expected, I guess, from a demo. I'm just going into the options here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this music down a little bit, so it's just a little bit less intrusive. That's better. And within the options here, we've got the ability to have a few different emergency brake options enabled. I'm just going to turn road traffic, passenger traffic, railway traffic, all that kind of stuff on. I'm not too sure if these actually make a difference right now in the demo version, but might as well keep it on. Metric units, yep, happy with that, definitely. Let's have a look. Quality, if I go to Ultra, ooh, okay, probably not a good idea there. Now, I am running an RTX 3070, just FYI, with this game today. And yeah, that already just took a little bit of a few seconds to respond when I changed it to Ultra. So I'm just bearing in mind with the optimization issues that are currently in play, I'm going to switch it back to quality high, and yeah, probably should actually just keep it at medium. But anyway, we'll go with high. You can see here we've got a fairly standard control scheme as well, using the keyboard here. Not too sure about controller support, but you can use obviously your keyboard, and it's got the fairly standard A and D keys for acceleration, deceleration of the throttle. You got your brakes here on the right hand side, you got your left right door, your pantographs and all that kind of stuff. Fairly standard. No, I do not want to quit. I want to go. It's interesting that the quit button's in the options, but anyway, yes, this is the main screen anyway. So if we go into scenarios, we can see here that there's a few different scenarios. I think these are all actually available within the demo, which is pretty cool. But this part here is actually quite interesting. You've got this qualification section where you can do all sorts of different training and unlock different competencies, I guess, or competencies, I should say, or qualifications. Not too sure what that means for the game. I guess that means you can access different, all sorts of different scenarios maybe. But yeah, there's all these braking, mastering, competence. Not too sure what's going on there, but I guess we'll learn a little bit more as we go on. There's an economy system there. You got 10 million kind of in-game units of currency. But this part here within the service screen, this is really interesting here. I haven't seen this before in a train simulator. You can actually upgrade things like brake pads, your transmission, your engine, your cooling, your air compressor, your battery, all that kind of stuff. You can see I've got these budget brake pads on, which are currently already a little bit used apparently. And you can see here we've got a new 1-gear transmission installed, but it looks like I've got access to buy a 2-gear transmission. And this all gets taken from your in-game currency. So it costs a bit of money, obviously, to upgrade your train, your locomotives. And I would probably hazard a guess that in the full version of the game, you don't start off with much money. We've got 10 million right now in the demo, but I would say that looks like we're just, kind of given free reign here to buy a few different things. So, got the 1-gear transmission installed. I've just gone ahead and purchased the 2-gear trans, which effectively apparently gives us a maximum speed of 140 k's an hour, not just 90. So, I'm not too sure how realistic it is from that point of view. Will you hear gear changes and all that sort of thing? Not too sure, but you can see here that we've got cooling system upgrades that we can do as well. And it's just funny that you've got that little engine as the thumbnail for all of these upgrades, but I guess it's only the demo, isn't it? Kind of have to keep that in mind as we go through. Yeah, we can do battery upgrades and things like that as well. And you got state refurbished in some cases. There's also state used, state new, as you can see there. So yeah, I'm going to keep the brake pads as normal here. I'm not going to touch them. Gone ahead and just installed the 2-gear transmission for what that's worth. We shall see if we get a bit of a speed boost with that one. But anyway, let's head back to the main screen here, and we can see, obviously I've chosen the BR218, as I mentioned there, this nice little diesel engine. But let's see which way we'll go. We've got here the scenarios page. I think I'm actually just going to go and hit journey. I'm not sure what the difference between journey and scenarios are. I guess scenarios are probably more, some things can go wrong, not too sure, but we'll just go ahead and use this default selected journey. I'm not going to go with the introduction. And it looks like we've got some sunny weather, and yeah, it starts in the morning. It says here, good visibility. Looks like we need to buy the journey before we can actually run it. But I've just gone ahead and bought that for about 3,000 in-game currency. It's a good thing they give you 10 million, isn't it? All right, let's load in and see what this thing's all about. Right, so it looks like when you first start the scenario or journey, it gives you a quick how to play kind of screen, which is probably worth taking a bit of a screenshot just for future reference on this one. Right, here we go. So we are in the cab, as you can see there. Just got to dismiss this how to play screen. Come on, let's get rid of this. There we go. Right. Okay, so visual first impressions. I'm actually playing this. This is a true first look, ladies and gents. I haven't actually played this at all before. Haven't done any rehearsal, so I'm seeing this for the first time along with you all as well. Looks like we've got our throttle wheel here, which is fairly standard for these types of locomotives. Got our doors here, door switches. Now it looks like you can just point and then use the E and Q keys to kind of interact with the controls, which is cool, in addition to using the key press, the keyboard mapping. So that's good. Got our brake gauges there to the right. Got a good amount of visibility out the cab, which is good. So far it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like the frame rates are holding quite well. We'll just hop outside here for a sec, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. Oh, look at the actual detail on the tracks though. That's really caught my attention right here. Look at that. You can see the reflections and just the way they've modeled the ballast and the track fixings and the sleepers as well. That looks really, really good, I must say. And the actual ballast as well, it doesn't look too uniform. It actually looks quite realistic. You can see there's some of it spilled up on top of the sleepers there as well, or tires as they call it. So that's really good. It doesn't look so uniform as you look down the permanent way there. As you can see, it actually looks nice and unique, I guess. So that's nice. That's a really good. I think they've done a really good job on the track bed so far. And just looking at the signals and some nice shadowing there on the signal lights there. The buildings themselves look okay. I think there's a bit of weathering going on here on the actual locomotive as well. The bogies themselves, the trucks, they look like they're well detailed. So yeah, this is just using the C key on the keyboard to hop outside and just cycle through these different exterior views, okay, and then just use the mouse to kind of look around. Okay, I must say I'm fairly well impressed so far for a demo. This is and this is an early access demo as well, so I've got the feeling once this is released, it's still going to be in early access mode for a while. So kind of have to temper your expectations a little bit here. Just hopping back inside. I do know it's taking a few seconds just to switch between some of these views. And there is a little bit of lag going on, I can tell already. There's our brake part pressure gauge, nice and prominent there on the panel. You'll be using that to judge how much how much braking application you've got on. So yeah, it looks like we need to, I'm just having a quick look at these. So we'll go ahead and just open the doors here. The cursor, unfortunately, that cursor ring is quite annoying. I think it's too big in my opinion. See how it's got that ring as you point to different things. These are the warning lights. I'm going to see if I can just start the diesel engine up here actually. Looks like I've got our wipers, instrument lights, sanding. Yeah, we'll turn on instrument lights, turn on cab lights. So I'm just hitting E as I point to each of these. Looks like we need to do this PZB release as it's asking us to do. Okay, start diesel. It says to hold the P key for 1 second. I'm going to try and just start it using the actual start switch if I can find it here on the panel. The diesel engine start. Let's have a look. These are all the warning lights. Train heating, throttle available, transmission mode malfunction, anti-skid. Yep, sand. Oh, there we go. So diesel 1, diesel 2. Okay, so there's 2 diesel engines. And okay, so let's go. It's in neutral. Let's just flip that switch to start. Here we go. She's gonna start up. Starting this massive diesel engine. Oh, she's roaring into life. Wow. Okay, that's great. First thing I've noticed here is there's a nice little cab shake and rumbling kind of effect going on. And you don't really get that in a lot of these simulations, I must say. The head shaking is one thing, but just having that rumble within the cab that just lets you know that the engine is in fact running, that is something, that's a little nuance I think, and you can just see that if I hold the viewpoint steady there. If I increase the revs, let's just see what it does. Is it going to smooth out? It looks like it's smoothing out as I increase the revs. Okay, so that's pretty realistic, I guess. It's probably more at idle that you'll get that nice lumpy kind of shake going on. So yeah, that's really cool indeed. All right, let's bring the throttle back down to earth. You can see here that we've got a bit of a tachometer there for our diesel engine. Now I haven't started diesel number 2. I'm just going to keep it as diesel 1. I'm not even sure if that diesel 2 switch works, but for all I can see here, it looks like our engine is running anyway, so we'll just leave it at that. Got our reverser in forward already from the looks. Now one thing I've noticed is the RPM gauge. That looks a little bit artificial in the way that it's running. It's not floating, like it's not smoothly floating from reading to reading. You can see that it kind of just steps up and then stops. Steps up, stop, step up, stop. I'm not too sure if that's realistic. I would have thought there'd be a nice little flow in how the needle accelerates and decelerates. I'm just looking at a very nitpicking kind of point of view here. Engine coolant temperature, you can see that that's rising, which is cool as you accelerate the engine. So that seems realistic. Transmission oil temperature is also increasing, which is interesting. Even though we're not moving. Engine oil temp, so that's cool. We've got engine oil temp modeled as well. Engine coolant level, it says 0, but the needle's pointing straight up ahead into the green zone, so I'm guessing that means we've got enough coolant. Yep. So I guess those radiator or cooling upgrades will probably change the way the temperature is modeled as well. Not too sure if overheating is modeled, if you can cook the engine or anything like that. Let's go ahead, and the boarding has completed, so we're going to run late I think in today's schedule, unfortunately, because we're just looking at everything at the moment. So let's see if we can close these doors using the E key once, yep, there we go. So that's cool. There is a clickable cabin or cockpit, which is really nice indeed. Okay, so right, doors are closed. Release the independent brake, it says. Press the left bracket key. So got dynamic brake. Yep, locomotive brake there. I think that's the one there, locomotive brake. Okay, so I'm hitting E and Q, and it looks like it stopped working. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Looks like I'm gonna have to resort to just using the keyboard mappings rather than the cursor context to adjust these controls now, because interestingly it looks like the cursor controls have stopped responding, so that's weird. I can't turn the instrument lights on and off anymore, or the sander, by just hitting E. So that's a bit disappointing. I'm not sure what's changed just now, but something I've done has kind of stopped the in-cab clickable controls from working. So we'll be reverting back to the key binds anyway. And A and D is your accelerate, decelerate anyway. Looks like, okay. We're moving. It looks like we need to go to notch 1, pause there for a sec, and then go to notch 2 only after a second or two. You can't just go right through the notches of the throttle like that. Okay, we're picking up a bit of speed. We are going to run late today, folks, because I'm learning this as we go, and I don't want to cause any issues. And I just want to kind of take in the sights and sounds as we go, and kind of give an opportunity for you all to experience it as well. Looks like we've got a nice amount of trackside detail there. Got some vehicles, the grass, vegetation, and all that looks nice outside. And I must say, frame rates so far are running pretty well, so that's good. We'll see if this keeps up as we continue our journey. It looks like we've got 3 separate stations today, which we'll be going through. There's our RPMs, they're increasing. It's doing that whole stepped little dance there. Very good. We'll see if we get any noise over these points. Well, we definitely got a noise there. That's the alarm, which you need to dismiss at regular intervals. I'll probably, it seems like at least. Okay, we're at 40 k's an hour. I did get a little bit of noise as we ran over those points, but not a lot. Nothing like Derail Valley, for example, which is, yeah, Derail Valley is a whole different beast compared to this, though. Alright, we're coming up to 50 k's an hour, about 30 odd miles an hour. Look at the graffiti there on the trackside detail. That's really kind of authentic, I think. Just hop outside here using the C key, and we can use the mouse to kind of just have a bit of a mosey around, have a look around. Frame rates are holding, doing about 60k an hour now. Like I said, I'm not trying to stick to the schedule. I'm just trying to do a little bit of a review as to what this demo is like. Looks like these bogies are kind of shaking. They've got the shakes. That's not very good. Yeah, I think that's probably one area that they'll need to work on. But once again, it's a demo, so just hop back inside here. Didn't really detect much of a difference as we ran over that bridge as well. Normally there's a bit more of a drumming sound as you go over bridges. So sounds actually aren't too bad in the grand scheme of things though. There's a fair amount of cabin noise and things like that, the braking noises and things. It's wanting us to do a little bit of a brake test, so that's what I'm just playing around with the brakes here. I'm just using the keyboard to do this, just reduce the throttle and testing out the brakes a little bit. You can see that the speed is reducing, so that's good. Yep, so brakes seem to be working quite well. And so you got a little bit of reduction on the brake pipe, which means brakes are applied. Yeah, the sounds overall as you manipulate the brake controls, they seem like they're quite realistic. Like the releasing sound is different, the application sound is different. So you can see I've just applied the brakes a little bit further down. Speed is being reduced quite a bit now. So let's release these brakes anyway, and let's pick this thing up because we're slowing down and we're running late once again as usual. So throttle on, and looks like that's not responding. So I'm going to use the keyboard to just apply the throttle. Whoops, I did it too soon. So go notch 1. Oh, motor malfunction. That's not good. I think this might be the end of the journey, folks. I've done something. I think I've ruined the motors. Oops. Okay, I think that light has been on for a little while. Potentially from, I didn't notice at the time, but maybe from back when I had that little throttle mishap when I was trying to start out of the station from beforehand. Okay, looks like we've got our CIFA, which is like the vigilance alert as far as I understand. So every now and again at regular intervals you just got to hit the Z key to acknowledge the vigilance, and if you don't, it'll apply the brakes. That option is off by default, but I have enabled it as you saw earlier in the video. So let's pick this speed back up because we are running late as usual. You can see there the RPMs are increasing. I'm gonna wait and see if there's an actual discernible gear change that's modeled. I'm not too sure if there should be, but we do have the 2-speed gearbox installed, so I would have thought there's a quite noticeable kind of change in the RPMs and the sound as it changes gears. The default gearbox gets you up to 90, so I guess at around 90 we'll have a look and see if there's a gear change. Just have a look outside the window as well. It's buildings and whatnot with the vegetation and trees, they're actually looking like they're modeled quite well, I must say, and performance so far seems to be good. And just looking out into the distance, there's a good amount of draw distance there. Like, there's not much pop in really that I can see in the distance when new objects come into view, so that's good. Coming up to about 70 now, or just past 70. That's about 45-ish miles an hour. RPMs are pretty high. We're almost at 90, so we'll see if it changes gears in just a sec, actually. Yep, almost at 90 now. So we'll have a look at the tacho here and see if there's a gear change. Nope, doesn't look like it's changing gear. Okay, but I think this is the limit of the standard gearbox, but because we've got the 2-speed, it's still continuing to accelerate past 90, as you can see here, past 90 kilometers an hour. So we should be hitting the 60 mile an hour mark shortly, about 100 k's an hour, so that's good. I'm not going for any speed records here today, just trying to take in the simulation. Looks like the vegetation, the grass kind of stops a little distance out, and you can see there it's just flat ground after that, but that's probably done for performance reasons, obviously. I'm loving this little cab sway that's going on right here. That's actually really good. A lot of these simulations, or so-called simulations, there's that motor malfunction still lit up there, but yeah, a lot of these simulations don't really have this cab shake, and I must say this is quite nice. I have actually got SimRail as well on my computer. I haven't actually had that featured on the channel, so maybe I will actually cover that in a upcoming video. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should cover SimRail, because I have enjoyed playing that game. Haven't really played it too much, that simulation, but yeah, might be something interesting for everyone to see. If you want to see me cover that, just let me know in the comments below. Kinda is giving me SimRail vibes a little bit right now, I must say. There are some pretty big players out there in the train simulator market, as we know. Obviously Train Sim Classic is the one from eons ago, but then we've got Train Sim World and the iterations of that, which I haven't got the latest version of that just yet, because in my opinion it doesn't really seem to be that much of a difference in the later iterations of Train Sim World. So, but yes, SimRail as well is another one. So yeah, I guess this will be a new competitor in the market. It's going to be thrown onto the pile of train simulators that are currently out there in the market. And I guess it remains to be seen just how much of a mark this will make, and just how good they can get it. Because if this is the demo and this is early access, I must say it's running quite well at the moment. Unless we run into some really serious performance issues, I must say that this is actually looking pretty good. And running pretty well as well. You can see there that if you look in the distance, there's a few little anomalies in the way the roads are modeled, but I mean, you don't spend a lot of your time looking at those things, do you? And if you want to play this thing like full real mode, you wouldn't be out here looking at these drone views and things like that anyway. You'd be in the cab for the most part, and you wouldn't really notice any deficiencies in the landscape past that fenced off zone, I guess. So this is the old Scandinavian train surfing kind of view that we've got going on here. Just got the pantograph wires just in our face. Vigilance alarm once again. Just dismiss that. I must say this thing's running quite well. I'm really happy with the performance. There is a bit of stuttering going on. We are going along at a pretty good clip right now though. We're doing over 60 miles an hour, so Yeah, we're inching up to, well, around the 65 mile an hour mark, pretty much 70 miles now, and I can detect a bit of lagging and stuttering, as you can see there as I move my camera. Things are kind of stopping and starting. Actually, I might have spoken too soon, but it seems like performance is starting to get a bit worse now in this section of the map for some reason. It actually wasn't too bad just a few moments ago, as you probably saw. It seems like things are getting a bit worse now. That's a bit of a shame. I'm wondering if it's because I'm going a bit faster now. This is pretty much the fastest I've gone in the game so far. Okay. Well, it is a demo, as mentioned anyway. Looks like these switches and gauges aren't quite like functional or anything like that. That's fine. Yeah, I think optimization is probably the big thing on the plate right now for these guys to kind of fix, hopefully. Got a timetable display there in the center console. Just checking out our coolant and transmission oil temps. They seem to be holding okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not too sure what all those upgrades will do. Like, I guess having those cooling upgrades will run the engine a bit cooler and transmission a bit cooler, maybe. By and large, okay, it seems to be like we're in a better section of the map once again. It seems to be, performance seems to be alright. Yeah, I haven't quite made my mind up about performance. I think it's kind of, the jury's still out on that one. They did say that optimization is key for them to do still, so you just have to keep that in mind. As I reduce the throttle there, you can see how the coolant temps and things like that do come down. So that's handy, that's realistic, I would have thought. Probably wouldn't be a change that soon in the temps, I guess, but because we're dealing with a massive engine here, it's a massive heat sink. I would have thought the change in temps would have taken, would be lagging behind any throttle inputs, but yeah, for the most part this is okay. We're coming up to our stop in about 2Ks here, and it's probably a little bit too early to be applying the brakes actually, but I just want to temper the speed, just keep that under control. So I've put a bit of a reduction on the brake pipe there just to slow us down a little bit. And to be honest with you, I probably should have done this at the 1.5, 1.2 kilometer mark, not the 2K mark, because we're still a fair distance out, and actually, now that I think of it, we're slowing down quite aggressively, so okay, I think I might have slowed down too soon. Yeah, we're still a fair distance out, so I think it's probably worth me putting the throttle back on and just getting this thing back up to speed a bit. And this is a good opportunity to just have a bit of a look at the scenery. You can see there that the buildings are modeled up to a fairly respectable distance. Let's pick the speed back up. I've braked way too soon, unfortunately. Okay, so we're about 800 meters out from the station now and counting down. We should be there in just a moment. Yeah, this scenery, they've done a really good job with the trees here, I must say. Especially the trees really stand out to me as being really well modeled. I guess that's what you want with a train simulator, isn't it? Nice trees. I guess the aspects of the simulator that you look at and deal with most often, such as the track bed, the trees, the trackside detail, all that kind of stuff. Obviously the cabin of the locomotive and the train itself, the carriages, all that stuff seems to be detailed quite well. I'm just coming up to the station now, and I've realized as well, because this is actually quite a, it's not a long and heavy train, so that's why the brakes are actually working quite well, and I'm probably overestimating and probably overcompensating a little bit with the brakes. I don't need to apply them so aggressively, and you can see here we've already stopped and there's still a fair bit of platform in front of us, so probably stopped a little bit too short, but hopefully the rear of the train has cleared the end of the platform there behind us. We'll be able to find out in just a moment. I'm just messing with this locomotive brake here, the independent, and I'll release the train brake and just keep the independent on whilst we wait in this station here. at, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but Eichweiler. I've probably butchered that, so I'm sorry if I have. Just hopping out here for a bit of a look-see at Eichweiler. I won't say that again, I promise. And if we look out in the distance there, yep, looks like we've just made it. The end of the train there has just managed to get into the platform. So yeah, probably could have gone forward a little bit more, but not the end of the world here. I must say, I'm actually quite enjoying this right now. It's not a bad little demo. Performance has been a little bit shaky, but we'll just have to see how we go. Alright, the boarding has completed. I've opened and closed the doors. There is no passenger traffic, as you can see here, even though I've enabled that in the options earlier. But I guess that's something on their roadmap. Ooh, we're rolling backwards. That's not good. Alright, right doors are closed. Let's quickly apply some throttle here, because we're inching back a little bit, as you can see here. So that's actually quite realistic then. They've obviously got the physics nailed down pretty well. We must be on a little bit of an incline. And we can kind of see that at the top of the screen as well, with that incline kind of graphical overlay. You can see that we are on a bit of a hill right now, and we're about to go into a bit of a dip actually before the hill starts again. So we'll just keep this thing moving, just slowly increasing the throttle here, notch by notch, as we increase speed, just waiting for the train to catch up a little bit, let the speed catch up with us before I increase the throttle further. Don't want to just go from 0 to maximum throttle like that. I want to just inch it on, notch by notch I should say. Just keep the train happy. Got a bit of a tunnel here. Performance so far is doing good in the game. That's good. Frame rates are holding. Oh, there's the alarm again. Vigilance. Now, I'm not trying to do this run by the book either, so those of you train spotters and train nerds, I guess, out there will probably say, hey, you haven't sounded the horn or anything so far. You've gone through level crossings and you've done nothing. And that is true. I have done nothing. Once again, this is just a first look at the actual game, and I'm just trying to put it through its paces. And yeah, it looks like performance is suffering once again. I'm seeing some stuttering, unfortunately. And I did mention I do have an RTX 3070 graphics card, so a fairly beefy graphics card in the grand scheme of things. Not the best, but up there. Looks like we've got a bit of a freight yard here on the left hand side as we go through. You can see some rolling stock in the sidings there. And got our nice little exterior cam going on. Yeah, the trackside detail is superb. I really love the foliage and just the signals as well. The way that they've modeled those towers and the overhead wires, I can't really fault it. And the locomotive itself seems to be modeled quite well. Just with the bogies or the trucks there, they are a little bit shaky, but I guess that's not a difficult thing to fix overall. Yeah, performance is kind of suffering a little bit once again, unfortunately. Yeah, I just realized as well I wasn't accelerating. That's why I've had to go 0 on the throttle and just start again, because I must have been a little bit too keen just now on the throttle and it's disconnected the drive. So once again, you've got to go to notch 1, wait a second or two before then increasing to notch 2, 3, 4 and so forth. You can't just go notch 1, 2, 3, 4 straight away. That will basically break the circuit and stop the acceleration from occurring, because this is basically a diesel electric from what I can gather. It's got those traction motors down below doing the actual driving, and the diesel engine turns a massive generator basically which powers those motors. So increasing the throttle here, I imagine, would be increasing the diesel engine RPMs, but also probably doing a whole bunch of electrical circuitry changes to feed more power to those motors at the same time. Yeah, that trackside detail is just perfect. I love the vegetation. I could probably drop this back down to medium, perhaps, in the detail settings, and maybe get a bit more frames. And to be honest with you, it was set to medium when I first booted up the game, so maybe I should have just kept it as medium. Maybe it did a bit of a check hardware wise and thought that I should be at medium, and I stupidly went to ultra and then back to high. But yes, maybe I'll try it at medium after this and just see if there's a difference performance wise. But that is all for now, folks. This is the last station, Stolberg. I don't think I've said that right. I mean, wrong. How could you kind of get that wrong, right? Right? Wrong? Okay. So yes, this is the last station. And I think we'll wrap it up here as well, folks. So I'm just going to try and pull forward a little bit further this time and not stop so short like I did last time. Just massage the brake pipe here. Don't want to get too heavy on these brakes because they're quite effective. Just need to get used to the old train. After a few more runs like this, I'm sure I'll get this thing down pat. But I'm actually quite excited to do a few more runs in this demo. And I would really appreciate as well if you would tell me what you think about what you've seen so far with Train Planet, this demo version. I'm quite excited to see just how they go with this and what other locomotives will be made available in time. Obviously, I haven't tried the other locomotive that's in the demo, but I quite like these classic locomotives a bit better than those other square kind of fully pantographed electric locomotives. But yeah, give me a nice classic locomotive any day and I'll drive it. You can see there the doors are open. I've opened the left-hand doors this time. I can hear the ambient sounds of those lovely birds. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, I must say. Nice visuals. They do have a bit to work on with the scenery, like outside of the immediate trackside area. As I did mention before, the roads and some of the distant buildings. I thought I saw some floating and things like that before as well with some of those buildings. But for the most part, if you're in the cab, you're not really going to notice that. So that's it. The boarding's complete and it's just basically taking me back here to this screen. So succeeded. That's always handy. Even with all the issues we had, I've got a total score of 2364, whatever that means. It looks like I've scored, well, I've got a bit of a penalty there of 745, but I've just gained 3,000 credits from that run. So it cost me, didn't it cost around 3,000 to unlock the actual journey as well? So yeah, that's interesting. It's going to be interesting just having this economy within the game to see how this goes as well. That's going to add a whole other kind of challenge to it, I think, because obviously you'll start off with a low amount of money and then you'll just have to see how you go economy wise, try and make money, and then eventually do things like upgrade your brake pads and things like that, and then upgrade your gearbox and your engine and all that kind of thing. So that's one part of this game that's kind of interesting to me, the fact that there's a bit of an economy and upgrade system for the parts of the locomotive. So that's going to be interesting to see. Maybe I'll try this BR186 in a future video if you want me to keep covering this game or this simulator, this ultimate train simulator. And yeah, maybe check out some more of these upgrades in the future as well. But yes, overall, I think as a first look, hopefully that was a good enough taste. I think I'm quite interested, I think, is my rating for the game. Or interesting. To see how this will go. So hopefully the devs don't abandon it and hopefully they keep up with it. Physics seems good, graphically seems okay. Obviously probably not at the level of Train Sim World and its latest iteration there, but I think in the grand scheme of things this is probably something to have. If the price is not going to be too prohibitive on release, I may well pick this up. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think as well, what you thought. Just based on this video as well, and yeah, happy to get your comments. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, and share the video as well if you think that you might have friends who may enjoy it as well. But yes, thank you for watching and look forward to making more videos just like this one. So yes, I will see you all in the next one.